Hi everyone, I am Londiwe. And today on our music lesson, we are going to be covering what a stave, a treble clef, and a bass clef. And towards the end of the lesson, we are going to be drawing a step by step, a treble clef and a bass clef. Right, let's get down to it. Pitch is how high or how low the sound is. Now, in music, we use a stave to show pitch. A stave is a group of 5 lines with 4 spaces, 5 horizontal lines, that is. Now, a clef, as loosely in French, is loosely translated a key. So we're going to be focusing on a treble clef and a bass in a bass clef. A treble clef represents high notes. In fact, the word treble means high sound. So treble clef represents high notes. So some of the music instruments and the voices that uses the treble clef is a saxophone, a flute, and the voices is sopranos and the altos. So a treble clef's nickname, or a treble clef, is sometimes called a G clef. Now we're going to be covering on the later stage why is it called a G clef. Let's move on to a bass clef. A bass clef is a symbol that is used to represent low notes. Like the treble clef, the bass clef, the word bass means low sound. So some of the musical instruments and the voices that uses the bass clef is the tuba, the bass guitar, tenors, and bass. So what we have here is the stave, like we discussed, and this is a symbol that represents high notes, the treble clef. And this is what we call the bass clef with 2 dots. Okay, so with the stave, this becomes line 5, line 4, line 3, line 2, okay, line 2, and line 1. So when you're drawing a treble clef, you draw a curve from line 2 going to line 3. Ne? Draw a curve upwards, and you continue, you go down from line 2, from line 3 in fact, up to line 1. Okay, you continue with the curve. Now from line 1, you go upwards to line 4. Ne? Do you see now it's starting to look like a fancy G of some sort? So when it's like this, you start to do a hook going beyond line 5. So let's draw a hook going beyond line 5. No, here's my hook. Now from here, we're going to draw a straight line downwards beyond the bottom line, and then from there we're going to draw a hook. Now let's do it. Here, and there is your treble clef, nice and neat. Okay, so when we look at the bass clef, it looks like a 2, well, an unfinished 2, that is, it's like the upper part of 2. So bass clef is much simpler than a treble clef. So bass clef, you start with drawing a dot here on line 4. From line 4, you go upwards to line 5. You draw a curve going upwards, and then from line 5, you draw a curve going downwards to line 2, and that's it. And after that, you add in the dots. So the first dot is going to be in the spaces between line 5 and line 4. So here is 1 dot, and the next one must be between spaces of line 4 and line 3. So remember, a bass clef is sometimes called an F clef because of this line 4 going this side. So now when it crosses the two dots, it somehow looks like an F. So that's why it's called an F line. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye.